Have you ever met someone with the same exact name as you? Paul O'Sullivan has.
So one night, I was just kind of indiscriminately adding Paul O'Sullivans on Facebook, and a good amount of them accepted my friend request, and eventually their stuff started showing up in my news feed, and I'm like, wait a minute, we're all musicians. It kind of felt like the universe was like daring me to do something with this serendipitous, scenario.
He reached out to musical Paul O'Sullivans around the world. Eventually, 3 Pauls agreed to form a musical group with him, aptly named the Paul O'Sullivan Band.
In this world, you sometimes think that everything's been done, particularly with the internet, everything's been covered, everything's been done. Well, actually, this felt like a first.
Yeah.
And it still feels like a first.
The Pauls put out a single at the start of 2020, and when the world shut down due to COVID, they realized they had been working remotely anyway. So why not use the lockdown to record a whole album?
It's just great to be able to contact people on the other side of the world when you're in lockdown, because you don't feel alone at the moment then.
They wrote and recorded songs like an assembly line: Manchester Paul on bass, Pennsylvania Paul on percussion, and Baltimore Paul and Rotterdam Paul on guitar and vocals.
I'm not a huge lyric writing guy, but within the first day of meeting, the next day, he sent me an entire Microsoft Word page of song lyrics. And I was just like, man, this might be the beginning of a really cool kind of like Lennon-McCartney kind of partnership, if you will.
Which one's Lennon and which one's McCartney?
Right, because we're both Paul, right?
Music has always been an outlet for the Pauls, but in the year 2020, it was needed more than ever.
If you learn to play an instrument, it can help you through some dark times.
I've always used music like to help me get through the bad times, I always say. It just got you through the whole lockdown, I think, because I think actually the lockdown went faster because I was actually doing this at the moment.
During a year when concerts and gigs were canceled for most musicians, these 4 found a way to keep doing what they love together.
And once COVID came, so many doors had shut on musicians, and Paul opened up this door already, right? Then we had an extra purpose, and I think for me, that gave me a lot of satisfaction, that I wasn't locked out of everything, that in fact we could accomplish things despite the new adversity. Everybody said no, and Paul O'Sullivan Band said yes.
Caitlin O'Kane for The Uplift.